Here we go. Should I do a countdown, Chuck?
Yes, sir.
83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 78. And we welcome you back to the Steam Room. Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley. It's presented by TISO, official watch of the NBA.
The second T is silent.
Yep, always remember that. You don't want to sound like a knucklehead. We've got a guest coming in here, and as we welcome Adam Lefkoe to the proceedings, we alert you to the fact there's only one rule, Adam, in the Steam Room.
Keep a towel on?
Yes.
He's been watching the Steam Room.
Are you a loyal steamer?
I am.
Oh.
I've been on the voicemail before, so this is technically my second time. So this is quite an honor to be here in person.
Oh, I remember the other one, sort of. How you been, man? You got one more Tuesday of studio work with D Wade and Candace Parker and Shaq. Is that all you got next Tuesday? Is that it?
That's it. May 11th,
Man.
and then we're done. I know. Feels like part of my life is going away.
Yeah, it's called marriage. You get married too. That part of your life is going away.
That's happening too.
We'll get into that in a minute. Let's talk the show, man. Tell me how the progression has been on that show for you, from sitting in that chair for the first time and getting to know those guys on a regular basis, and what it's been like for you.
Yeah, I mean, that first time, we had never been in the same room together before, like 40 seconds before air. So like Shaq walked out that first time and I was like, "Hey, Shaq, Lefkoe." And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, this is how we're doing it." Okay. And then this year, to be honest, if I'm going to be really honest, I think in a weird way, the COVID protocols helped us develop, because the backstage at Inside an NBA on TNT is a picnic. You know, you got the makeup room, you got people in the clubhouse, and there's so many personalities. And I kind of think for us, if I'm going to be honest, it was just us four. And we would just sit there all night, and we just really started talking to each other and telling stories. And you guys know, when you're walking out from the back and D Wade and Shaq are cracking up, and me and Candace, and the back is the show. And so I think for us, really getting a chance to bond a lot has been a lot of fun. And then sitting in that chair, I have a better understanding now of how quick pregame goes and halftime goes, and what you actually need to know for those moments. So instead of like studying every single thing and know, okay, what do I need right here? But it's been fun, and Ernie, to really just become friends with like D Wade and hang out with him and text him with Candace all the time, and feeling like getting closer with Shaq. It's just fun, because that's your teammates, it's your brothers and your sisters. And that's what's been so cool.
It shows, man. You've done an outstanding job on that thing, man. It's a great watch.
Man, I appreciate you.
Well, but let me just say this. You know, Adam, listen, I love Shaq, Candace, and D Wade. They do a good job. But Adam, you are very talented. And the reason I know that, you talk about, I just met those guys and we showed up and it worked. And that's got a lot to do with you. Because remember, I remember when I first told somebody about you, I says, because we kind of did the same thing at the match, the first match in Vegas.
Yeah.
And you got me and Sam Jackson, and you're like, okay, I'm with Charles Barkley and Sam Jackson. It was such a natural, smooth thing. And listen, I get intimidated around Sam. I'm not gonna lie, because like I said, oh, that's Sam Jackson right there. And I've been working with him for 5 or 6 years, and it was so seamless. And I said, man, this dude is good. He wasn't like, he did his thing. He was funny. He was spontaneous. And I said, when you walk out with big personalities like myself and Sam, and you got Pat Perez there also, and then you like, no, I can handle this. I said, you make sure you pat yourself on the back for being how talented you are.
I appreciate you. And the 4 people that are on this call right now, like, I've done so many shows with Cap. So I got my reps in with Cap. TK was one of the first people after that first show that kind of called me and was like, you got it. You're good. He's like, just do you. And I think sometimes you need to hear that. Chuck, you've always been so complimentary. And Ernie, for me, like, I got a time hop on Instagram, and it showed the picture from 6 years ago when we got to hang out at the Emmys that day. The credit to Ernie is I never want to copy somebody's style, because you have to be you. But when I tell people that Ernie is the GOAT, it's because he treats people and the job with the utmost respect. And what I learned that day, it wasn't even just seeing him go on stage and do the whole thing with Stuart Scott. Ernie, I don't even know if you remember, we had like some kid walking us around, and you asked him his name and you asked him about himself. And I watched the impact that you had on that kid. And I was like, okay, that's one way that you can carry yourself. And when I watched the Thursday show, I'm not going to lie. I watched the March Madness, and Ernie had one after a big upset. He didn't introduce Chuck, Kenny, Andy. He just kind of navigated in. And I'm always learning from Ernie because there's so many different ways to do it. And you create this gravitas and this energy. And I know that for me, I'm learning, man, because you really are the best to ever do it, Ernie, but you're also like one of the best people to ever do it. And so for me, man, I feel like I'm your guys' teammate. Like, I feel like I'm a rookie on the bench and you know what I mean? Like, I'm young Chuck and you guys are Moses and Doc. And I'm just kind of looking and being like, okay, this is cool. I see what you guys are doing here. I like it.
Oh, it's great having you on the team too, man. And folks out there have been following you for a long time, long before you started doing Tuesdays on TNT. And
that stuff.
But it's all been an amazing ride, hasn't it? I mean, because a lot of us get our same kind of starts in local TV and are kind of hoping that, man, maybe someday I can take this up the next rung and the next rung and the next rung. But talk to folks about your local TV days and include in there, please, how you came up with the Seinfeld show. You did an entire sportscast all based on Seinfeld references, and the thing just blew up.
So we had a tornado here in Atlanta on Monday, and it brought me back to my first job in Hastings, Nebraska, where I was a news reporter. I was a one-man band.
What are you laughing about, Chuck? Hastings, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, it was so cool when we had Jimmy Kimmel on. And, he's Jimmy Kimmel now, like he's Adam Lefkoe. And we always talk about, people have no idea how hard these guys work. They're like, oh, Adam just went to New York and went to Turner. Like, no, when he said Hastings, Nebraska, I was like, damn.
Yeah. So what happened in Hastings?
Well, I was a one-man band news reporter, and I used to cover tornadoes. Like, I did a 3-part series on tornado chasing, and I watched a dude punch a tornado, which is when you drive through a tornado, and his back window got smashed, and I'm shooting it from like the other car. And I think back and I'm like, what was I doing? Population 25,000. I was getting paid $18,500 a year. You're writing your own stuff. And I wasn't even allowed to do sports. On Saturdays I would have an off day, and I would go with the sports guy to cover the Huskers and Ndamukong Suh back then, just to see what a press conference was like and see how do you interview an athlete. Then I went to Louisville, Kentucky after 2 years in Nebraska. I was there for 3.5 years. And the Seinfeld stuff happened because I couldn't get an agent. I couldn't get another job. And I just got bored. And my friends would be like, hey, say happy birthday to Tiffany on the newscast. And so I'd be doing Saints highlights, and I'd be like, Drew Brees dropped back and happy birthday, Tiffany, touchdown. And they would send me videos of them cracking up. And I was like, what if I do other references? What if I do wrestling? What if I do Seinfeld? Hello, Newman. It's undeniable. Rick Pitino is the most influential man in the history of basketball in the Bluegrass. His 96 Kentucky team, dominant like the Moops. His most recent cards, captivating like a red dot on a cashmere sweater. The Hall of Fame did not ask Pitino. They simply said, take the pen. That was back when things actually really went viral on the internet and stayed there for 5-6 days. And that's how you saw me for the first time. And that's how Bleacher Report saw me. And so they kind of called me up after turning me down originally. And that brought me to Turner and Bleacher Report about 8.5 years ago now.
It's so funny. Bleacher Report is I get all my news from Bleacher Report. When we bought Bleacher Report a few years ago, I was like, why are we buying Bleacher Report? And they're like, it's going to be big, Chuck. And now I check it every couple of hours. I refresh it. And the thing I love about it, I follow Auburn football and Auburn basketball. That's the only two things I follow. I get breaking and trending.
Yeah.
I love me some Bleacher Report. They do a fantastic job.
I mean, like on a Tuesday, as I'm sure it is a Thursday for Ernie, you are reading so many newspaper headlines. You are scanning the NBA. And the last thing that I want to do is go on Twitter. And so the fact that I can get an alert from Bleacher Report that tells me, oh, Joel Embiid's going to be out tonight. Oh, add it to the notes. You know, it's being at that company for that long, the number one thing that gives me value is those alerts, those notifications, because man, the world goes quick. And I need someone to tap me on the shoulder and let me know what's going on.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how quickly, every few minutes my phone is beeping. I mean, it's crazy. But let me ask you a couple of basketball questions.
Okay.
Because I did a bunch of press conferences yesterday. They're like, well, who's going to win the Eastern Conference? I said, hey, man, Milwaukee, Philly, or Brooklyn, I would not be shocked if any one of those three teams won the Eastern Conference. And they said, what about the West? I said, I got zero idea.
No idea.
Zero idea who's going to win the West. So what do you think?
I think that there is a definite line of demarcation in the East between those three teams and everybody else. But of those three teams, like we've seen 7 games out of Harden, Kyrie, and KD together. And they were great, but only 7. For the Sixers, you are relying on Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. And as a Sixers fan, I have to be honest, that's scary. And then for the Bucks, there's a big part of me that goes, okay, they're 4-0 against the Nets and the Sixers since April 2nd, but I want to take them. But if they lose, I'm going to go, oh, duh, it's the Bucks in the playoffs. We've seen this so many times. So I'm not confident in any of them.
Yeah.
And then in the Western Conference, the prevailing notion in my mind is everyone going, if LeBron and AD are there, it's the Lakers to lose. But we don't know. Like I was hanging out with Wade the other night and he goes, you know what this is with LeBron? He's finally getting those normal injuries that we all had to deal with our entire career. And he's just realizing, oh, this is a thing. And I'm going to have to deal with this. And I'm going to have to play with a hurt ankle. But I think in the end, if I had to pick someone, I would probably go with the Nets just because when they're all healthy, it's the most talent in the NBA. But this is a great year to be in Chuck's world and bet some long shots and some upsets because this is the year, man, to take some of that plus money.
Yeah, like Portland, Chuck.
Ernie, let me tell you something. That team is scary to me. I mean, when they play great, they're great. But when they play bad, they're awful.
Whether they're playing good offensively or not, that defense is still a big hang-up.
Yeah. But Adam just said something interesting. If LeBron and AD are not healthy, and listen, the notion that they just gonna show up and win the championship, total bullshit. First of all, they might be in the play-in games,
right?
So they or they might play the Clippers or the Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs. The Jazz, I love what they're doing, but they still got to prove it in the playoffs.
Is Utah the most complete team?
Yeah, but they still got to prove it in the playoffs.
I know they do. I know what they do. But going in,
that
team offensively, defensively, off the bench, you got the 6th man of the year. You got Gobert. You got Donovan Mitchell when he comes back. I mean, I just think that is a complete team, which is a very tough. Hey, we're going to beat this team 4 times.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something. To me, they are the Milwaukee Bucks of the West. They're terrific. Oh, they lost again in the playoffs. Until they prove that they can win in the playoffs, it doesn't matter if they've had the best record in the West. But I got a question for you, Ernie.
Yeah.
Adam, do you get an MVP vote?
No. Are you kidding me? No way.
Well, Ernie gets one.
Ooh.
This is going to be.
It's crazy.
The first month, it was probably LeBron. The second month, it was probably Embiid. Injuries are probably taking those 2 guys out of it.
Harden had a run in there too.
No, he did. Yeah.
Harden was MVP before he got hurt. Great point, Adam. Then everybody's talking about, well, Giannis is probably playing better than he's ever played. But they're gonna hold it against Giannis. They're like, we're not gonna vote him MVP 3 times and he don't get 4 in the playoffs. So they've kind of eliminated him. Then it's like, well, it's Joker's to win. And then now people finally jumping on my Chris Paul bandwagon. But Ernie, it is crazy. Adam, number one, I want your opinion, but Ernie, I want your opinion also about this MVP thing.
Yeah, well, I haven't cast a ballot yet, but when you get those, you have to rank them like they asked for. Give us your MVP 1 through 5, or Rookie of the Year 1 through 3, or the Coach of the Year 1, all that. So, and I always wait. I kind of work on it, and then I kind of change things around. But I would go Jokic at this point, I believe. And I think what he's been able to do with, his run and made Jamal Murray out has been impressive too, and all the triple doubles and playing in every game, and just doing it all offensively. Not a great, he's not a great defensive player, but Denver runs everything through him, and they're having a great year. So I guess that would be it. I think my biggest struggle is they're going to be like, when you name the All-NBA team. I mean, that's where it's like, okay, is LeBron All-NBA? Is LeBron All-NBA first team?
No.
But you'd say, hey, he's the best player in the game.
But
he's not All-NBA. I know, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things to weigh, so where's he in that? You got Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis. Okay, so you got to have 3 front court players. So yeah, so you can't put LeBron in there, and who are your backcourt guys? Okay, Steph Curry.
And the way Westbrook's playing, like, where do you put Westbrook in
exactly?
All of this?
It's very interesting.
But I got a question for you, Ernie. You named all those guys.
Yeah.
Julius Randle.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's on one of those 3 All-NBA teams.
It has to be.
No question. But I'm talking about, we got to figure out how high does he go?
Can you put him in there with Embiid,
no,
Jokic, and Antetokounmpo?
He is not a first-team All-NBA this year.
No, but
he's not a top 5 MVP vote getter.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Joker,
okay,
Embiid,
okay,
like those 2.
Okay,
Chris Paul,
okay.
You're going to put him over Curry?
No. Yeah. Man. No, wait a minute. You got to reward winning. We had this argument all the time. Listen, what Steph Curry's doing is incredible. But they're the number 10 seed, Adam.
Sure.
In a fake playoff game. In a fake
in the West.
in the West. In a fake playoff situation. Don't forget that.
Where's Bradley Beal?
Bradley Beal is not. I'm gonna put.
Is he All NBA? I mean, somewhere first, second, or third team All NBA.
Could be the leading scorer in the NBA, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Bradley Beal is there, but I'm just telling you.
So we're not putting KD in this. We're not putting Harden in this.
No.
Like what?
No. You penalize those guys for missing games.
They're winning. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but those guys aren't playing. Oh, so hey,
hey, Adam, well played.
Hey, Adam, we had this argument on the show. I penalize guys.
What about Booker?
I love Booker, but I'm saying I'm penalizing those guys. To answer your first part of your question, I'm penalizing those guys for injuries, Harding and KD. So
I think it's also tough when you start going, oh, wow, Luka's had another great year, and I don't know where to put Luka in all of this, too, because his stats are going to look great.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. You know what my dream come true is?
What?
I'm afraid to get the
donuts.
Answer.
What do we got?
And let me listen. First of all, Spike Lee, who I love to death, been blowing up my phone. He's been killing me. He's so excited about the Knicks, and it's great for basketball. The Knicks are doing great. But I was looking at the standings, and it's changed in the last couple of days. How about Brooklyn against New York in the second round of the playoffs? How good would that be?
It would be special.
I mean, that would be so special.
Especially because what I've always loved from Knicks fans is they've always said, even when they stunk, and here come the Nets, if you win, you're never marching down the avenue of heroes, you're never going to be New York's champion. And if the Nets have to go through the Knicks, whoever they face in that second round, if they get through the first, you have to imagine it's going 7. And you have to imagine they are banging them up and getting them tired for that next, a Knicks Nets series would be special, man. Special.
Oh, it would be so much great television.
Oof.
And listen, this notion that the KD and James are just going to show up and everything's going to be great. We're talking like 2 weeks away And let me tell you something. And I said this on the show a couple weeks ago. Nobody wants to see Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in a 7-game series. Man, I'm tired of people beating on Russell Westbrook, man.
I don't think anyone's beating on Russell. I think
No. They've been really
the
hard
world
on
has
him.
turned.
It should have turned a long time ago, Adam. First of all, we all want to win the championship. We all want to win a championship. And Russell Westbrook may never win a championship. But for a man to go out there and give 110% every single night, we don't even appreciate that anymore. Well, because I saw some of the bad things people were saying a month ago when he had a monster triple-double. Now they're like, oh, man, we got to start giving this guy respect. I said, we should have been giving him respect a long time ago.
Hey, Chuckster, I actually looked at the metrics the other day, and in his last game when he had a triple-double, he actually gave 112%.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you and your analytical guys. You know, the guys who are running the NBA, these analytical guys. Hey, you know, Adam, these, all these analytical guys, these guys who own NBA teams want to get a son-in-law a job. So they made up a term called analytics.
Do you have good analytics? Like when we look back at your career, does the analytics say that you were better than you actually were?
Actually, believe it or not, yes. But
so then why do you hate analytics?
How do you know that? Somebody tell you the analytics say that?
No. Because I won an NBA award like 5 or 6 years in a row. And they didn't call it analytics back then. They just added all the good and the bad together. And I actually won an award.
The Good and Bad Together Award.
Yeah. No,
I remember that. I remember the trophy presentation. It was very emotional.
Is that plus minus? Was that what it was? Plus good and bad, plus minus?
Yeah, they did a little
That's
thing.
not really
I forget what the award was, but I won it like 5 or 6 years in a row when I was with the 76ers. And they're like, we do what you do good and just subtract what you do bad and give you this stupid trophy, which was stupid.
So the Sixers gave you the trophy or the league gave you the trophy?
No, the league gave me the trophy.
Really?
Ernie, isn't it weird that like Shaq, Chuck, they hate the play-in tournament, but they say things like, you don't want to face Russell Westbrook in a 1-game situation. Like, how exciting is it going to be that Russell Westbrook is going to be playing in 1 game? You win or you go home. Like, this is a dream. Steph Curry in a win or go home situation. Like, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, but Adam, the only problem I have with the play-in stuff is the play-in teams. First of all, they're mediocre or bad teams first. Let's get that out the way. And they have to play the right to get to play the best team in basketball in East or West. So, yeah, this playoff thing scenario is interesting for 1 game. But then you says, now we got to play the Utah Jazz or Brooklyn, Milwaukee, who's going to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
That's my only problem. Like, your reward is getting to get killed in the real playoff.
You get a chance.
Well, I know, but
normally you wouldn't even be in.
First of all, you don't have a chance. When you're the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed, you're not going to beat the number 1 seed.
Look, to me, it's just it's a nice little warm up for the playoffs, and somebody's going to get that win or go home feeling right away. And after all this time in the regular season, I'm ready for something like that.
Yes.
I'm ready for some finality. And so let's just see how it happens. I don't know if it's going to go past this, how it's going to go past this season, because it's a 1 year, they're looking at it. They did it last year in the bubble. They're doing it this year on a 1 year basis. And then let's see if they tinker with it. Let's see if, to me, if you're number 7, but you're up by 5 games over the 8 team, you shouldn't have to play your way in. But if you're all bunched up, maybe there's a way you look at it and say, hey, look, if the teams that are within this of each other get in, maybe you do it that way. But we'll see. Hey, look, that's a lot of hoop talk. Let's talk about your impending marriage.
Oh.
Okay. This is 2 weeks away.
Yeah, I feel like we're like 15 days away now.
Yeah. How involved are you in the planning, and are you ready to elope?
Well, smartest thing I did, I have to whisper because she's in the other room. Smartest thing I did was, her birthday was in January, and I gave a very big gift. And I normally don't go that big. And I said, I just want to give this to you because I love you, and to thank you in advance for handling so much of the wedding in these next few months as I have to get ready for my job.
Wow.
And I think it kind of worked. Because I haven't been too involved. I whenever I get asked a question, I say yes. is my new thing. So it's like, what do you think about this? And I go, yeah, that sounds great. And then, cause she knows what she wants to do. And so she's going to do it anyway. But Ernie, I will say, I had a chance, my wedding shower was this past weekend, and I got a chance to see my grandmom for the first time in like 2 years.
Wow.
And I got to see my mom. And then I got to see her mom with my mom. And it was, women are just a better species in general. And to be around those people and to see the joy on their faces, I was like, you know what? I haven't seen my people in a long time together. And so I'm very excited for that. In terms of paying these people, eloping sounds great. You know, that sounds really, really nice. But in terms of like seeing family together, and the fact that, God bless it, New York is changing all of the rules like 3 days before the wedding to like, hey, you guys can actually come together now. You didn't have to be in your zone. So we're getting very lucky with that. But Ernie gave me the best advice. I haven't been able to use the line yet. No one's asked me how long we've been together. I can't wait to use it. But I'm ready to cry like a baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be like Chuck at his daughter's wedding.
Hold on, I just threw up a, can you just repeat that little line that Ernie said?
It's so good.
Okay. So you're in a social setting, you got people milling around and so Ernie, how long have you and Cheryl been married? And I look at Cheryl Ann and I look back at the person who asked the question and I said, not long enough.
I can't wait. I can't wait to use it.
Goosebumps for you, Chuckster,
Yeah.
right? Goosebumps.
Yeah, okay.
Chuckster.
That was so cheesy.
No, it's not. It works, man.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's like, oh, that was so nice what you said. Go play 18. Hey, I will. I might play 36. Thanks.
No, but what's been funny is every Tuesday I come in and Shaq goes, hey, how long until the wedding? And I go, 28 days. And then he looks over at Wade almost every time and he goes, hey, Wade, isn't it crazy? This dude's like really excited to get married. Man, that's nuts. Like he's always like blown away that I'm like super excited to get married. It's very funny.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Do you guys have any advice for me for the day?
Just enjoy it, brother. It's her.
Okay.
It's her special day.
Well, it's a special day for everybody.
Yeah, but it's you know, for the bride.
Yeah.
It was like my daughter.
Don't do anything to screw up her special day.
I just wanted, I wanted this to be the best day in her life. You know, I tried as hard as I could to just, she was so excited for it. And obviously, I know your wife is also. Just, man, just make sure it's perfect for her. Because, because women take these things way more serious than us dudes do.
So I am going to be lifted up in the chair. We are doing the horror.
Yeah.
Chuck, any advice for balance? Who
Brother,
to pick?
Listen, we're like boxers, brother. We're in different weight classes, so you're gonna be all right. Is your wedding indoor or outdoor?
The wedding itself is going to be outdoor. Yeah.
I just hope you get perfect weather.
Man, I do too. So I have Ernie's amazing book on Audible, and I re-listened to the part where he was talking about him and his son getting married, and the fact that you had the same experience with your father with the best man and given that mug and all that. And I can't wait to see my pops cry because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm a sap when I see it impact other people.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I see my mom and my dad, that's going to be that's going to make me cry because you realize like it's an entire family thing. Like this is, and I'm also like the oldest of all of the cousins on both sides of my family. So it's all going to be these young people. And I'm one of the first one. My brother got married already, but I can't wait to see the emotions, man. I'm a sap.
So let me ask you a question. Is Ernie just as boring in person as he is in audio? I'm just asking.
No, I think actually he has little moments where I feel like he adds some stuff that wasn't actually in the book, where like he'll be like the way that he reads it. I'm like, man, I feel like he's right there. He's good, Chuck. I'm going to be your audio book. While it would be a picture book, would be a little bit tough, but Ernie's is great.
I read that thing word for word, just as I wrote it. And it was tough.
Oh, so natural.
It was tough because even though I had written every word, it was like, man, when you're saying this into the mic, and there were times we kind of had to pause and I say, hey, give me 5 minutes before I jump into this chapter. But what you're talking about with Eric, was really cool because I had given my dad was my best man, and I had given him the mug that said my best man, my best friend. And it always sat on the mantle at his house. And then Eric kind of, a half hour before the ceremony with Quinn, he kind of motions to me, says, "Hey, you got a second?" Pulls me into this room and, "Hey, I got you a little something." And man, I opened that thing and and here it is. Here's his own version. I take this mug out. It's got the same thing written on it. And it's like, no, it doesn't get any better than that, Adam.
Yeah.
And that's those days when you get married or your kids get married, being walking my daughter down the aisle. Those are just, they're priceless. They're treasures. And so it's going to be a treasure for you that day too, man. So
I appreciate
remember, catalog every moment, keep saying yes, and don't screw up her big day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking mental snapshots the entire. You're right. I just my fear, because it'll be Jewish, so there's gonna be a moment where I have to crush the glass, and if I miss, oh man, did Chuck? Did your
Yes,
son-in-law he nailed it?
And the rabbi was like, "Don't be afraid to stomp it because it's hard to break." Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine? I slip and fall. Oh, I can't do that. I don't need to be on Shackton for my wedding.
Yes.
Adam Lefkoe, man, always good spending time with you, brother. It's wonderful having you as a teammate, and we wish you the best on the upcoming huge day in your life. I know you'll do great.
I appreciate you guys. You guys have been such good friends, such good advisors, such good people to just have in my life. And I would say that I'm upset that I can't do the playoffs. But I can't wait to watch you guys because I still think that you guys are the best show on television. And I'll be honest, it's going to be nice being off.
Hey, let me tell you something. I ain't gonna lie, Adam. Number one, congratulations again, and man, thanks for being a teammate. I told somebody yesterday, man, I said, yo, man, I'm excited for the playoffs for probably the first time.
Yes.
For the first time in a long time. I mean, they're exciting every year, but man, this year it's gonna be crazy watching.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'll be watching every game, man. You guys are the best.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.